All right, all right. What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Sports Bros. I am your host, Ken Collins, and as always, I am joined with my brother Kyle Collins. And man, it's been an exciting few weeks since we've been off going
Has
on in
been, has
sports.
been.
Man, so the drama that is LeBron James has finally come to an end.
Yeah, or is it
And
just starting?
and well,
Yeah,
you know, he signed with Philly, which we Philly was in the mix.
was in the
It
mix.
wasn't in my top places that I thought he would go. But looking at the team and him being in the East again, and that trade with the Celtics to get Jaylen Brown. So he's playing
Hmm.
with Jaylen Brown. He's playing with Tyrese Maxey. When healthy, we know what a beast Joel Embiid can be. Like
Okay.
basketball wise, basketball wise, I'm not mad at that decision. As a Warriors fan, I'm a little disappointed. As a basketball fan, I'm a little disappointed because I thought it would have been fun to see him playing with Steph and Draymond. I think they would have made noise. Do I think they would have contended for a title? Not if they didn't get street clothes in a trade or just something else. I did like how our young beast Yaxel showed up in the summer league.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him last winning the MVP. But yeah, I think I'm not mad at it. Basketball wise, it makes sense, and I think that makes Philly a title contender in the East. I thought that made them a title contender when they got Jaylen Brown. So now you got LeBron James, who's still capable. He's looking like, yo, I want to get a ring again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it it adds to the drama of the story. I think it is going to be a fun spot for them to play in, considering on paper their team. And what they did last year, even Embiid playing through some of his injuries to show up for his team in the playoffs. I mean, they already had a good squad. It wasn't great, obviously, but they had a good squad, and now they've got Brown and LeBron. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out for them. I mean, I kind of feel like LeBron had to go somewhere other than the Warriors just because of the story he wouldn't be able to avoid with going to the Warriors. And then if they do win, is it, the conversation we had already with, well, he did it with Steph. He didn't do it on his own. He did it with Steph. Like you can't
Yeah,
beat him,
but
join him.
no,
I,
I don't think that the can't beat him, join him applies to LeBron. Okay, because whether we like it or not,
but that's
we
what
could
he's
talk
done.
about his we um
He went to Miami. Can't beat him, join him.
um yes and
He he
no.
he came to LA with that idea too.
How?
And tried to because he tried to tailor the Lakers to him. You
Yeah,
know,
what you're the arguably the greatest player to ever play the game. Why wouldn't you want to tailor it to you? Why wouldn't you want to tailor it to
well,
your strengths and your game set? When you have a star player, you tailor the team around that particular player. That's what the Warriors did with Steph.
right, but Steph didn't leave
That's
to
what
do
every
that. Was
team
my
does with
point.
their superstar. What do you mean he didn't need to do that?
He
What?
didn't leave to do that. He didn't go to the
Okay.
Warriors to do that. He's with the Warriors and they're building around him. LeBron left another team to go there and then started changing
Yeah,
that team.
but the Cavs didn't really build around him when he was in Cleveland. When he went back, he had a young Kyrie, and yes, they traded for Kevin Love, and that was a way more formidable team. That like the second stint with the Cavaliers for LeBron James, those teams demolish the first teams with the Cavs. That he dragged those Cavalier teams into there. That just goes to his greatness as a player, right?
Mm.
We could talk about, yeah, they all decided to kind of go and join and be in Miami. I mean, it's Miami. Why would you go to why if you had to pick between two cities? I've been to Cleveland and I've been to Miami. I'm picking Miami every single time. Like that's
Right.
just kind of how it is, right? And something he's mentioned before, you got to get. He was young. He went right into the league out of high school. He didn't have a college experience. His 4 years in Miami was his college experience, right? That's why he came back when his time was up. It was like because he could have stayed in Miami and they would have built around him, and they probably would have. He still would have went to the finals, I think, whether he was in Miami or Cleveland. That's how weak the East was, and that's how good he was at the time. He just came into up against a juggernaut of a dynasty in the West with the Warriors. But joining Steph this part of his career, where both of them are not in their prime, and they're both on the decline. Now their decline is a little different than everybody else's because of how far their top level is, right? But yes, it's kind of the Steph. Well, Steph won with this person and this person, but Steph can win with everybody. We seen that. We saw it with the Olympics, right? Like that's why you've got people out here talking about Steph's the GOAT. You got to put him in those conversations, right? But now the Warriors are failing to do later in his career what the Cavs did with LeBron early in his career. They're not building around him. So him going to Philly is I can play meaningful basketball. I've got young dudes. He's a free agent, and when you're a free agent, you're free to do what you want to do.
Excuse me, 2 year deal, right? You signed a 2 year deal with them.
He signed a 2 year deal. I think it's a player option after the first year. Kind of what we were talking about offline about it when and in some of our predictions. But yeah, it's a 2 year deal. This is more than likely probably going to be his last year though. We'll
Yeah,
see. I think it all depends on
they win.
how
He
this
comes
year
back.
how this year. If he wins the chip, I don't think he
Comes
comes back.
back. Really? I
No,
think just
because
the
then he's
opposite.
got.
I think he wins. He comes back.
I'll give you
That
why I think, and then you tell me why
depending
you
on,
think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's do
So
it.
I think if Philly wins the chip, it gives him the ability to go out on top. Kind of like Peyton Manning did. Um, it gives him one more than Steph. So now he has five. He'll have the same amount as Kobe. Okay. Um, and he'll probably break a few more records this season. And then that's it. Right. Like, I don't see this Philly team being a team that's probably going to repeat. Because there will be too many moving parts and too many teams getting better that next year. But if he wins it this year, boom. Now, if they're close and he thinks they got it, he'll be like, yep, this is going to be my last year. I'll opt in. I'll do the swan song. And maybe he rides out on the last one. But if he wins it all and he can go out on top, I think the diva and the vanity that is LeBron James would ride that out. Oh, I won the chip. I'm out. I did it. You can't like he leaves the chip. The last time you seen him play a basketball game, he's raising the trophy. That's for him. I think with his ego, that's a story right there.
Now, has LeBron ever won a back to back?
Yeah, with Miami, they
That's right.
lost,
Okay.
won, lost.
No, so not a back to back.
They
Oh, one.
lost,
They won,
won,
and then,
and then lost. He spent 4 years in Miami.
okay, so he does have a back to back.
He's got a lot of
I'm
back to
just
back
thinking.
losses.
Yeah, yes, that's the truth.
To that guy
Uh,
behind your shoulder.
yeah, buddy, hear me out. Um, I think that's kind of where I'm at a toss up with him coming back. I feel like it all depends on how they actually finish the year and what Philly can do to maintain that team if they do win, would make that decision whether or not he comes back. But I can also see it your way where he's just like, yeah, no, I did it. I'm good. I think I can go ahead and step away and go do something else. But I think the same reason is true to why he would come back. That vanity, like I could do it again. I can get me another back to back. And if he does that, well, shit, I can get a three-peat and win and have the most. And like so him having still something there to gain is the reason why I say that the potential is there for him to come back. But I don't think it's as much if he loses. If he wins, I feel like the potential is there. I feel like if he loses, that might be that might be it because of that.
Again, I think it's how he loses. Like if they're close, right? Because keep in mind, this is going to be their first season together,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if they're close and it's like, yo, we tweak a couple things, we can get that. I can see him coming back. It'll be my last year. We going for it all. But he's already kind of decoded the matrix, so to speak, and knows what to do in Philly for that last year. But if he figures out how to decode it coming in year one and get there and he wins, what's the point? You leave on top.
Mm-hmm.
You leave,
Right,
hey,
right,
I got
right.
my fifth ring. I got one more than that guy, right? He's got
Well, we've
one more
seen
than the
it.
guy
We've
behind his
seen it.
shoulder, which is really reality of it is that's his counterpart in this era.
Yeah. I just Kobe came back. Jordan came back. Uh, I mean, who else is another good example?
What do you mean Kobe came back?
We he changed his name. He came back for he had this last season. They didn't win. Kobe didn't go out on top, but Kobe came back to try to win. He did. He left. I'm just saying, Jordan comes back, right? After retiring, he comes back, and even uh, uh,
Yeah,
Tom
but Jordan,
Brady.
yeah, the
Like
only
they
reason
they
the only
didn't
reason
they
Jordan
didn't
came
finish
back,
out on top the way that they wanted to because they had this itch to keep playing. They had this want to like they couldn't step away from the game. I think Peyton is the only one who did that. I mean, there's maybe a handful of other guys. I guess Jerome Bettis, when they won, he was gone. Cinderella story, but
so
yeah,
so the only reason Michael came back was because he was getting an ownership stake in the Wizards. So part of him getting that was to come back and play for them too, right? So he didn't come back to try and win a chip. He came back for money reasons,
money.
like business, like securing his future, right? And he was still putting a whooping on them boys. Um, but he was way past his prime, and that's really what that was. So his last year in Chicago, when he was like, "You do this, I'm really gonna retire," he did go out on top. He did
Mm,
retire, winning. Um, Kobe played out his contract, and he knew like this was going to be my last scene. All he did was just play out his contract.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he went out on top because he put up 60 in his last game. You feel me? So
yeah. He had the Star
that's a
sword.
great
He
that's a
did it
great
right.
consolation prize. You know what I'm saying? That's a great
Uh,
consolation prize. But yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So it's just like, yo, I can do something that maybe these other cats didn't do. The last time you see me play in a basketball game, I won a championship.
mm,
That lasts forever. That right there adds to the legacy, right? So
yeah,
and it, yeah, he's due 2 year and it's Philly. I will say this. I'm glad that he went to a black ass city. Um, it's so funny. It's so funny. You look
you hear
at
all
the
the
Lakers
politics
right
that
now.
people are talking about were
You look
connected to this. It's
right. You
ridiculous.
look at the cornflake Lakers, and then you see the Philly special that they got going on down there with their lineups, and it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, Brian, I feel you. I feel you.
Well, I mean, let's be real. The Lakers aren't the same look Lakers they used to be, and I
Ain't no
mean,
Showtime going on up in there.
ain't no Showtime going on.
No Showtime.
That's it's the European lakes. I mean, there's a lot across the ponds in LA, but it is what it is. That's what their organization has moved on to. And I get it.
Very
It's not like they
interested to
don't
see
have
how that
talent,
goes.
but yeah,
But yeah, I'm very interested to see how that's gonna be some funny. It's gonna be a funny season. It's gonna be a funny season.
yes.
So
And so speaking of contracts and people, landing where they're landing. All right, we wanted to bring up our home
Draymond,
team.
yeah,
Yeah,
Draymond, 1 year deal for 27.7 million.
it's a lot
Uh,
of money.
your nephew said that was too much money. I was like, well,
It,
it's 1 year. Um,
It
I
is.
this is where I think this is probably Draymond's last year. I think this is possibly LeBron's last year. I think Steph is going to play 2 to 3 more years, 4 at the most, because he hasn't lost his ability to shoot the ball.
No.
And there and with Draymond's deal, really, Joe Lacob has come out and said like they're positioning for life without Steph. And I don't know if I'm ready to accept that yet. If the fan base is ready to accept that yet, if the NBA as a whole is ready to accept that yet. I do like the draft pick and what we saw in summer league. The Warriors won the summer league championship. Our pick got the MVP. I think give Draymond 1 more year. I think 27 million is saying like, yo, this is it.
Sure.
So this is it.
But I also think he set himself up to be able to have them hand him that amount of money by opting out originally, knowing that he was freeing up space to potentially bring on LeBron. And so like his move for the organization was reciprocated because of, the relationship that they've had,
Yeah.
which, a lot of people don't understand that. And if you're not a Warriors fan, it's really hard to understand. I mean, there's some Warriors fans that don't understand the Draymond relationship. I kind of liken it to what do they call it? Stockholm syndrome. Like you start to love your abuser. I don't mean to make light of abuse, but you fall in love with somebody who you can't stand. Like like some of the antics over I guess more in particular the last few years. Obviously, the year that it cost us, that potential chip. That was heartbreaking, but we
Yeah.
rode for him because he rides for his team, and he's that dog that every team wants, but you never want to play against. So I appreciate Draymond as a Warrior and a Warriors fan, and I mean from all of our years of struggling with guys who got names, who are great players, and just and couldn't do what he managed to accomplish. Granted, the company he had, but he was definitely to me as big. Well, he was a big part of the reason why the Warriors have done what they've done in the last decade. So, I appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing him give his all, see what they do. I mean, I feel like they're a playing team again, considering they didn't make any fucking moves at all.
Yeah, that's crazy. They haven't made any moves.
No
I
move.
every
Be the
Washington
only
was like,
team in
yeah,
the
we're not trading
NBA.
AD. We're not trading AD. It's like you did. Like, what do you mean you're preparing for life without Steph if you're not even making moves now, right? And so now it's
Mm.
just like, are you gonna extend Przemski? I mean, I get it, but like, he's not that dude. Um,
I
uh,
mean,
I don't mind
there
if
isn't a
somehow they
ton of
bring.
options out there that are better.
So here's my thing. You mean to tell me Jaylen Brown was on the trade block? We didn't make a move for him.
I
Okay.
think we did. We just didn't get him. We didn't have what it took to get him.
I don't know that because they didn't make no noise about trying to get it, and nothing came
Doesn't mean
out
it
or
didn't
leaked or
happen.
said.
Well, we knew they were
If
interested.
we don't hear about it,
We did hear about it. We heard about
no.
them being interested
What
in
did you
Jaylen
hear?
Brown.
What did you hear about them
I
being
heard that the
interested in
Warriors
Jaylen
were
Brown?
interested in Jaylen Brown before LeBron. It was before the LeBron talk.
So why you didn't make no moves to get him?
I don't know. I can't
Because
answer that. I'm not, like it, but
Philly got him for a bag of chips. So like, what what moves did you make to not get him? You get
did
what
did
I'm
the Warriors
saying?
have what they offered in
They had
order
the
for
11th
them to
pick in the
get him?
draft. They had the 11th pick in the draft. You could have gave up. We wouldn't have a young stud, but we don't know what he's going to turn out to be. It's looking good, but we don't know yet. Still, you had the 11th pick in the draft. You've got Przemski and you've got Jimmy Butler, right?
Nobody wants that contract.
I
No. He
They
only won
traded
2 years
him for
contract.
a bag of chip. Well, you still got Jalen's contract. The
Yeah,
contracts
but what
match.
Jalen
The
is going to
contract.
play?
The contracts match. So
Yeah, but for a player half his age.
they traded. Philly traded him for a bag of chips.
Right,
Like
right.
Philly didn't
What I'm
give up a
saying
whole
is,
lot for Jaylen Brown. Philly didn't give up a whole lot for Jaylen Brown. So what I'm saying is that the Warriors had what Philly had to give up for him. The Warriors could package that. There wasn't like Philly didn't give up a lot to get Jaylen Brown. The Celtics wanted him gone. That is what we call a fire sale. Like, yo, I know this is worth $1 million, but I just need the money quick. I'll take
well,
$500 for it.
okay. And on the other side of that, though, did Jalen want to go to the Warriors and
He would have
be a
played with
number two
Steph.
again?
So
He
here's
would have been a
he's
number two again. He wouldn't. It wouldn't be his team.
actually no, he wouldn't have been a number two. So let's keep this. So let's keep this 100. Yeah,
Anybody who's on Steph's
every
team is a number two
but everybody wants to play with Steph. They
as a
can
number
play with
two.
Steph, but he would eventually took over the team. He would have been the main
What
scoring
you're talking
option in
about?
Steph. No, they could have easily transitioned to allow for Jaylen Brown to be the number one option and Steph be number two. Steph is just not
Post
going to look like a
Steph.
number two. What do you mean post Steph? What I'm saying is
He
that
becomes number one after Steph is gone. He doesn't. That's not
no,
his team
I
until
think
Steph is gone.
I so let's separate a couple things first. Okay, there's the because Kevin Durant when he was there was the number one offensive option for the Golden State Warriors. Fan wise, Steph was that dude. Okay. If Jalen comes to the Warriors offensively, he becomes the number one option. Now, fan wise, Steph is still number one in everybody's eyes. But the way the game is played, Jalen is going to get more minutes. They're going to run it through him a little bit more. And Steph already loves playing off ball. So that would have been easy to do. There's a reason why Kevin Durant won back-to-back MVPs when he was there. He was the best player on the team. Steph has no problem playing with other people and doing what they need to do. And on top of that, when it needs to be Steph time, he'll have the legs to be able to do it at the end. When it's time to say, okay, time to give me the ball, they will defer to him. But through 82 games, to allow Jaylen Brown was the number one option last year because Jason Tatum was out most of the game. He was number two. He was number two in the East. He had that team number two in the East. They came across Joel Embiid when Joel Embiid was healthy, and we see what happens when Joel Embiid is healthy. That's just basketball, and that happens sometimes, right? And Jason Tatum, they kind of pulled him because it looked like let's not risk injury on you again, too, because he might have slightly come back too soon, but he came back looking good, so we're not gonna knock that, right? But the
Yeah,
fact
but
of the
do you
matter
think
is,
it fucked
he
off the
showed
chemistry? Messed up their
no,
chemistry.
no, it didn't mess up their chemistry. It didn't mess
I
up their
see it
chemistry.
differently. I think Jalen was jaded by it because he had been that guy and he wasn't getting the respect from his own team for what he had done to get them to that point without Jason there.
That's so. These are personal things.
Right, right. But
These are his
you don't think
This
personal
is his
things
personal
affect
now.
the
Right, but what I'm saying is he was still
that's
balling out. It wasn't like he
that's my
wasn't getting his
point.
numbers. It wasn't like he wasn't
No,
getting his numbers. They just don't like Jaylen Brown the person because of what he does outside of basketball. He's way too black for them, especially being in Boston. I'm just gonna keep it 100, right? So him coming to
he's
Golden State
an
in the Bay
educator.
Area, where and check this out. Do you know what college he went to?
Cal, of course, yes, and
Okay, so he
it was
has
by
ties to the
choice too.
Bay. Yeah,
He
he has
does.
ties to the Bay. So and he still does community work in Oakland. So him coming to Golden State would have been an easy transition for you. And you talking life after Steph. Now you got this young cat in Yaxel. You could have traded for Jalen, and now you're doing stuff. Then somebody else that I mentioned, LaMelo Ball was on the market. You could have drafted him. Now you got a chance to right the wrong. Now he's in Minnesota. So they got the 1 and 2 pick from that draft.
Bro, I don't think
Or the
Jay.
1 and 3 pick.
I don't think Ball is that. I think you're putting him up way higher than he should be. Um,
Just tell me you
but
hate basketball.
I know I hate ball, not basketball. There's a
Just tell me you
difference.
hate
And his
basketball.
dad and his dad. Uh,
His dad got
his
all
dad's
three of his
terrible.
boys. His dad got all three of his boys NBA
I didn't say he wasn't
contracts.
a good father. I didn't
Okay,
say I
okay.
did say he
Listen,
wasn't a good father.
I'm not. What I'm not going to do is let them try and put that narrative. As black men, we can't put that narrative out there with them when they
No,
try to do
that's
that.
not what I'm saying. But
So
I don't
so
like him
so
as a person and the person he presents himself as when he's in the media, the dumb shit that he did when he was on TV. I mean, he got himself fired.
like what? How did he get fired? He never worked for anybody.
Oh, okay, so he got removed from being a guest on the show for making that comment to Rose's well now ex-wife, but about switching gears. He was just inappropriate. I mean, but that's been his kind of his persona too. It's just he's kind of a
What does switching
arrogant
gears
bastard.
mean? What does switching gears mean?
You knew it
It
was
means
the
to change subjects.
insinuation. It was
It
the
means that you
insinuation.
can
He
switch
said
gears
we
with
can
me
switch
anytime.
gears. Yes,
You can switch
it's
gears anytime.
insinuated. I'm a grown ass man. I know if I tell a bitch we can do, I can go switch gears with you anytime. She knows I'm trying to ride. So I'm just saying, like it's
That
come
but
on now.
that tells us your mindset. Maybe that's not his
Yeah,
mindset.
absolutely.
I'm just
Come
saying
on
that.
now. You're trying
Look,
to give him too much
that
credit.
that just says your mindset.
Well,
Look,
it's clearly
I
theirs
can't
too.
tell. Hey, I can't tell what's in a man's heart and mind. All I'm saying is that you pointed
You can
out
read
something
between the
very well.
lines.
He is a great dad. He does what he needs to do.
Uh,
He separates himself from a lot of corporate things because he preaches ownership and community and certain else. Let's not let the message get lost because he's
no,
got a
not at
boisterous
all.
personality,
Not
right?
at all.
So
Not at
so
all. So
yeah.
I don't want to take away from what he does by my comments. No, not at all. But yeah, I still on a personal level, I don't
But
like
what's
him.
crazy though, since we're talking free agency a little bit, what's crazy is all the people who still haven't been signed yet. Westbrook, he probably played his last game in the NBA. Nobody's
I
picking
was
him
gonna
up.
say yeah.
James Harden, Cleveland technically still hasn't brought him back. DeMar DeRozan was just released by the Kings.
Did you hear
Now,
why? So, because
no,
wasn't he supposed to go to? I thought he got. Oh no, it wasn't Demar. I'm thinking about. It was Kawhi.
yeah,
He's
Kawhi's
caught up
trade
in
is on hold.
something.
Yeah, Kawhi's
Yeah.
trade is on hold until the investigation with because they did some phony stuff to get him paid, and that's going to come out, and he's probably not going to make it to Toronto because he's going to end up getting spended for like part of the year. But he's signed to a team though, so it's not like he's not signed. He's still signed. Um,
Yeah,
it's
but
just
sign with condition that this is resolved because
no,
I
no,
don't
no,
think
no.
they
He's
have
not
to keep.
Kawhi. Kawhi's not a free agent. Okay,
No, no,
so
no. That's not what I'm saying.
well, yeah,
But
but I was
if
talking free agency, so I'm
okay,
confused on. I'm just mentioning people who still aren't signed, who are
got you.
unrestricted free agents, right? And some of the big names that are out there. And so right now you have DeMar DeRozan, who's an unrestricted free agent because he got released. James Harden, who has not been signed by uh, the Cavs yet. They haven't offered him something in order to bring him back, so he's an unrestricted free agent.
Hmm.
And Russell Westbrook. Those are three big names, right? Who've had really good careers that are no longer technically with NBA teams. And
Right,
so
but those are
wondering,
three big names where I would only see one being a legitimate, like, uh, positive addition to that crew, and that would be another old man in DeRozan. Now he's solid as hell, obviously, but to me, he's like a second Jimmy. Like we got two Jimmys out there, like that
I'm not even
mid-range
saying
killer.
if the Warriors gotta sign any one of those three of them. I agree with you on that though. I could see DeMar DeRozan being a good fit with the Warriors. Yes,
Hmm.
he's still one of those older guys or whatever, but you get him for a year
Hmm.
for someone who can actually probably produce on the offensive side of the
Right,
ball that could play with the second unit and probably ball out still, who could be somewhat productive, right? And understands basketball, Mr. Mid Range.
which
But I
leads me to
don't
my point
see
about him just even outside the Warriors. Out of those three, I could see him going to another team that needs a veteran presence like
Mm-hmm.
the San Antonio Spurs, and
Mm-hmm.
giving them something that
Mm-hmm.
then is actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
quantitative. Like you actually get value, immediate return on that, from that guy. I don't know where James is head
It's
at.
funny you
You
mentioned the
never know.
Spurs because he used to play with them.
He played with the Spurs.
He
Yep.
played with them. But right now, that quietly would be a good fit because you're not asking him to be the man. When he was with the Spurs the first time, he was asking him to be the man. And what we
Hmm.
realize is DeMar DeRozan is not one of them dudes that can be your number one. He could be a
No,
good 2, 3, or 4 on a championship team. He's not
he
going to lead
looks
you to
like
the
a number
promised
one
land,
when there's
though.
a number one there. He plays like a number one when there's another number one there.
Yeah,
Like
I like that. I like
he
that.
elevates his game when there's another guy there that takes that. I mean, it's kind of like,
Well, he's getting all the
our boy.
focus. Yeah.
Exactly. He's taking advantage of the fact that there's somebody else taking some of that attention.
He's not getting double
Um,
teams. He's not,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
we'll have a quiet, 36-point game and
Yeah.
all twos.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
So, I think him and,
Andrew
what
Wiggins.
is his
Is
name?
that who you were thinking about?
Wiggins. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He knew I was going there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like their games to me are very similar in that fashion. I think DeRozan's obviously a much better player over his career, than Wiggins has been, but I think they're both, still those quality guys. Which, again, we're gonna see that team in. I know where I'm moving around a little bit. We're gonna see that team in Miami, though. With those, that should be interesting.
What
That
team in
should be
Miami?
interesting
Oh, with
with
Giannis and Bam.
Giannis. Yeah. So we still got to see that pan out, and you know that should be fun to watch because now you've got Giannis and LeBron going at each other too in the East.
Yeah,
So
the East got a little bit more interest. The East, to me, the East has been more interesting than the West for like the last 3 seasons.
right, but well, a lot of people would argue that the West wouldn't have even won if it wasn't for Halliburton getting injured. So yeah, I think the East has definitely gotten a lot better. I think I have a tendency to you know because I'm a West Coaster, see the West Coast is a lot better than the
Oh,
East, and
that's
I
yeah.
still of
I
that
said the
mind,
East
but I
is more
definitely think
interesting.
there's
I didn't say it was better than the West.
no,
I
not
said
better
more
than the West.
interesting.
They've gotten better over the last few years, and sometimes
Yeah.
I don't reckon or give that recognition to the Eastern Conference because of how much the West has dominated, uh, from my perspective, over the last decade. So it's been, like, it's whoever comes out of the West is going to beat the East. You know what I mean? Like that's been kind of my
Yeah,
own mindset.
I don't have that mindset because I think the top 5 teams in the East are just as good as these West Coast teams. It just so happens that are like 10, 11, 12 teams would dominate
Right.
in the East and be top 5 teams, right?
And that's
So
why I think the
so but
East looks
that's
like that because
right,
they only have the top five, and
but
everything
that's
else
but
after that
that's
is such a far
but that's
drop
why
off.
words matter. That's why I preferenced what I said was I
Mm.
felt like the East is more interesting than
Yeah,
the
yeah.
West
Oh yeah.
over the last 3 seasons with the players that they've had, the moves that they make in a way like anybody could come out the East,
Hmm.
right? The West, it's kind of like it's probably going to be OKC or San Antonio.
Well, yes, we,
Like
we know our top two
our
or three,
teams,
but
our top our
our
top
shuffle is
teams.
between, what is it, 4 to 10 is a shuffle, but they're still good. So that's the
Right,
difference between the
right.
East and the West, with
But
our lower,
but
standard
the
or
top two,
standings.
but you kind of know
The
who's
top
coming
two,
out the
three
West
teams,
though.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, like with the East, you could look be like, all right, whose year is it this year?
Whose
Right?
year is it?
It's more interesting. With the
Hmm.
West, it's like, okay,
Oh, we know who's gonna be there.
all of y'all probably gonna win like 50 plus games, but
Hmm.
one of these 2 teams is gonna be the ones in the finals. And you can kind of call it every single year. Like
Yeah,
that's the one to beat, So that's kind of how it's been. But it's good to be back.
it is good
Uh,
to be back.
you know, we are happy to see what this season is gonna come about. Hopefully over our next few episodes though, because we're gearing up for football season.
That
A
we
lot
are.
more
It's
NFL, a
coming.
lot more NFL will be coming in as training camp starts and we move along. Of course, we're gonna keep things always up to date, keep things gully up in here. Until the next episode, we will see y'all when we see y'all. This is Sports Bros. Peace.
Peace.